It's been a while since I've been here, folks. Merry Christmas. We are back in the house. We are inside the Atlanta News First Plus studio. I'm Shon Gables with Atlanta News First, also with Peachtree TV at 10. We're covering all of your top headlines tonight, but first and foremost, I want to say to you, Merry Christmas. I hope you had a fantastic holiday with your friends, your family. I hope you got everything you wanted. And most importantly, I hope that you're grateful because really that's the purpose of the season. But again, we do consider it a privilege that you're going to spend your time with us on this Thursday, December 26th. We are days away from 2025. Wow, where has the time gone? Well, we've got a lot of things for you tonight in our Atlanta News First Plus studio. This is where I give you sort of a sneak peek of some of the big stories that we're going to be covering tonight. And the biggest one. Wow. Aren't I having a fantastic day over here? I'm going to say this again because it's like Groundhog's Day. You're probably wondering, hey, am I going to be able to go spend time at Grandma's house? Same conversation, same story. It is winter, and like most Christmas stories that we tell you, it's all about Christmas travel by air or car. Weather is going to be our big story tonight. Here at home in Atlanta, we're dealing with three first alert weather days, harsh travel weather conditions could impact millions who are trying to return home for the holidays. And the we've been doing. I've been checking the maps here before we get to you with Patrick. Across the country, the rain is pounding the southeast. Light delays are expected if you're planning to fly out. There's also wet, wintry conditions in the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. The Midwest is dealing with rain and storms, and the East Coast right now downright cold. We have team coverage tonight for you. We're going to start with First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete with more on the three First Alert weather days that he's tracking right now.
Yeah, all eyes right now on that first alert forecast. Three first alert weather days coming down the pipeline starting tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. This is something that we have been talking about for the last couple of days now. We've been seeing the chance for these showers and these storms kind of like start a little bit earlier tomorrow, and that's why tomorrow has been updated to a first alert weather day. Watching the second half of the day, rounds of rain and thunderstorms are in the cards for us. Not going to be a consistent soggy 3 days, but rain's going to be moving in and out as we have a system moving through, and then expecting another area of low pressure to travel along that and bring more moisture with it as we head into Sunday morning. Watching for widespread rain totals of 1 to 2 inches, but there will be some locations that pick up more than that. We expect to see some isolated spots get upwards of 3 inches. So that at least brings in at least a lower level opportunity to see some flooding, something we'll keep an eye on. And then we're watching Sunday's atmosphere because it does appear we're going to kind of be in a warm sector. We'll have a little bit more energy. We'll be able to see some of these thunderstorms get a little bit stronger, and cannot completely rule out the potential for severe weather on Sunday. So something you'll want to stay dialed in for. And hopefully you already have the First Alert Weather app on your phone, and you'll get any of those notifications. Here's that first wave of energy. You can see it moving through Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. We were watching this earlier this evening. We saw multiple tornado-warned storms along this line. You can kind of see that warm sector, the area in between the cold and the warm front. That's where you see the bulk of the lightning. That's the most unstable region, and technically that's the part that we'll be in on Sunday, which is why we at least are concerned about there being some stronger storms on Sunday. Nonetheless, things are pretty quiet for us close to home right now. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than we were yesterday, hovering in the mid to upper 40s at this hour. And there isn't going to be a major drop-off tonight. We expect to fall to the low to mid 40s. We have all that cloud cover thickening up through the overnight that's going to act as our thermal blanket, so to speak, kind of like keeping us a little bit milder through the overnight. And then as we head into the day tomorrow, all eyes to the west as that line of showers and storms that's now moving through the south will start to move our way, and that's going to bring the chance for some rain into view especially as we head into the second half of the day. So moving through Alabama at around 7, 8 a.m., that means that your morning commute is going to be dry, just very gloomy and cloudy. By noon, we'll start to see some of those spotty showers starting to move into portions of extreme northwest Georgia. So we'll start the first alert weather day at around noon, especially for areas northwest of the city. And that's where that line is going to kind of hang out through the early to mid-afternoon. But you can see it gradually starting to sink further south, moving into North Metro after 5, 6 o'clock, and by around 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow evening, that line of showers and storms will be pushing across the city of Atlanta and a large chunk of the metro. So if you have plans tomorrow night, it's looking a little wet, it's looking a little damp, looking a little thundery. So just be prepared for it. It may slow you down. If you're planning to step out into the streets, let's make sure that we're at least bringing out umbrella and we're keeping an eye on radar. So that means that the first half of the day will be drier. Rain chances increasing second half. We are still under that cool wedge, that east breeze, and that's going to keep temperatures a little bit cooler tomorrow, much like they were today. I still think we'll get into the 50s for an hour or two, but we're going to spend the bulk of the afternoon in the 40s, which is chilly. I wouldn't call it terribly cold, much like today. You're probably going to at least need some sleeves all day. And then as we head into Saturday, Saturday's tricky because a lot of the guidance is hinting that there's going to be a lot of moisture around. Dew points are going to be elevated. There's going to be a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, a lot of cloud cover, so it's going to be drizzly. But we are going to have some scattered showers move through the area, and even some stray rumbles of thunder will be possible. It's not going to be a cohesive line, but there will be some energy around through the bulk of the day. So while the rain chances will not be high all day, they will be around. So you will have to dodge some showers here or there, and then there'll be plenty of dry time in between. We do expect another wave to push through a more organized line as we head into the overnight hours, and that's going to move through very, very early Sunday morning. Scattered rain and thunderstorms to kickstart the day at around 5, 6, 7 o'clock. That means that heading to church service could be a little wet, and that's where we could see some of these storms on the stronger side, especially as we head closer to the afternoon. We'll see another line start to fire up on the back end of that front, and you can see that the yellows and reds and oranges, that's indicating some heavier downpours. We expect to see some energy there as well, eventually seeing things trend drier as we head into Sunday night. Already looking at the potential for there to be some isolated flooding. This is on the lower level risk here. This is about a 5% chance of some flash flood guidance, but it's something for us to watch, of course, because we don't expect this to be a widespread issue. But if there's a chance, you need to know that there's a chance, and that's something we'll be watching to see where the rain collects. 1 to 2 inches of widespread, some of those locations getting a little bit more than that. And obviously, a lot of our focus after the weekend will go into all of our celebrations for the New Year's. Admittedly, drop in the comments, tell me how y'all feel about New Year's Eve falling on a Tuesday. It's kind of weird. You know, it's not giving the same vibe that, New Year's gives when it's like on a Thursday or Friday. We're going to let it ride, though. Cloud cover. We're going to be watching a system pass to the north of us, and that's where the bulk of the moisture will be with that system on Tuesday. But I can't rule out a spotty shower dipping in. Some of the models have been hinting at this for the last week. I don't think we're going to have major impacts here, so that's why it's not a first alert. But the chance, at least for some scattered showers, exists the further north you are New Year's Eve. Take a look at the temperatures. Mid-60s Tuesday afternoon, mid-50s on New Year's Day. So some cooler air building in as we kickstart the new year. Admittedly, it's going to be pretty close to what it should be, but it is going to be a 10-degree temperature drop between the 2 days, and that's our way of telling you heads up. Notice the shifts. And then we even trend cooler by next Thursday, where afternoon highs really only top out in the upper 40s. So all in all, it's a pretty active week. It's going to be a pretty active weekend for sure. Lots going on as far as these rain chances. I'll give you the 7-day full screen, 3 first alert weather days for rounds of rain and storms. I'm going to head back to the First Alert Weather Center because we need to dive more into the timing of this rain, see how much we can squeeze out of the new data that we get between now and the 10 o'clock newscast. And if you join us on Peachtree TV at 10, you'll see some of our newest data. And if you can't, but you're around at 11, we'll be on Atlanta News First, diving into this as well. So you guys have a fantastic evening. Hopefully you're having a fantastic holiday season, staying safe. And I'll see you on TV in a couple of hours.
Now, Patrick knows good and well to not ask anyone to leave comments in the YouTube channel when I have to manage it. I'm struggling over here, folks, but leave your messages. We will answer them. They won't be as fast as Patrick. Patrick went and grabbed a drink of water real quick. When he comes back, I'm going to make sure he answers every single question. But in the meantime, he was talking about the 3 first alerts that he's tracking here in Georgia. But the beauty of being on Atlanta News First Plus is that we're global. We cover the entire country. And so, as I mentioned earlier, there is rain that is pounding the southeast. There's flight delays, expected for the Pacific Northwest, also on the West Coast. Wet, wintry weather conditions throughout the weekend. And the Midwest dealing with rain and storms, and the East Coast right now downright cold. And this is at the height of folks traveling on Christmas and after Christmas to get back to their destinations. Here's a look at the holiday travel and what you need to prepare for.
In this most wonderful time of the year, sometimes all you need to pack is a good attitude.
Delays make great adventures. You never know who you're going to meet.
The day after Christmas, travel crowds are heading out, which means some long lines at airports around the country.
It's a little bit crowded, but I mean, I'll get through it.
Get there early and stay updated on check your apps and stuff.
Nationwide, the TSA expects to screen nearly 40 million passengers from December 19th through January 2nd, a 6% increase from a year ago. Complicating things Thursday, punishing weather in certain parts of the country, including storms in the south.
Some of these potentially severe, packing damaging winds, hail, and even an isolated tornado can't be ruled out.
Airports in Dallas and Houston are seeing delays and cancellations as the rain comes down.
I am nervous about that. It's storming in Houston, so we'll see.
The skies are clear here in New York's LaGuardia Airport, but parts of the West Coast are facing their own weather challenges. Utility crews work to restore power after heavy wind damage in the Northwest. From coastal rain to mountain snow, it's all charged by an atmospheric river.
Winter weather alerts in place for as much as 1 foot to 3 feet of snow from the Cascades to the Sierra, as well as the Upper Rockies through the weekend.
For those hitting the road, AAA forecasted the busiest time Thursday would be between noon and 5 p.m. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And make sure you join us on Atlanta News First. Blair Miller, he's off tonight, but I'm holding it down, and our team of reporters are spanned across the metro, covering several big stories, including Blake Devine. He is in Coweta County, and he has an exclusive for us tonight on Peachtree TV at 10. Also on Atlanta News First at 11, he is speaking with the survivors of a house fire. And wait until you hear how an 11-year-old saved his mother. They're considering this their own Christmas miracle. You don't want to miss that story. Also, this is another big one that we're following. Our Atlanta News First, Madeline Montgomery. She's going to join us in Southwest Atlanta. There's a neighborhood where neighbors right now, along with friends and family, are grieving a high school senior who was shot and killed Christmas Eve. His family sharing her story, her legacy, and why the violence in that neighborhood needs to stop. But before we go, let's take a quick look at the top 7 stories that are trending online and on Atlanta News First Plus. Fire crews extinguish massive flames that lead to a roof collapse at a home on Nebo Road in Paulding County. FEMA extends the deadline for Georgians impacted by Hurricane Helene to apply for federal assistance. Your last chance now, February 7th. Cat food sold in Georgia recalled after a bird flu contamination leads to the death of a house cat. A post-holiday rush hits Lenox Square Mall as Atlantans cash in gift cards and exchange unwanted presents. MARTA running more frequent train service through downtown Atlanta ahead of the Peach Drop and the Peach Bowl. 2025 will be full of centennial celebrations at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport as the city celebrates 100 years of aviation leadership and innovation. The Mega Millions jackpot soars to more than $1 billion after no one won the grand prize on Christmas Eve. And make sure you join myself and Carly Barnett and sports reporter, Atlanta News First sports reporter Connor Hines tonight. We are all in studio. We're going to have your top headlines on Atlanta News First at 11, Peachtree TV at 9. I want to thank you again for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Stay warm, safe travels, and make sure you download the Atlanta News First app.